Wallpaper, real life stories. Story 1. My brother has been in a toxic relationship for years. His girlfriend treats him terribly, constantly breaks up with him, and then pulls him back in, and our whole friend group suspects she's been unfaithful. He's always been the shy one and genuinely believes she's his only option. I got so fed up watching it that I decided to do something. I sat my brother down and laid out everything I'd observed over the years, specific situations, specific patterns, how she treats him, versus how he deserves to be treated. I also talked to a couple of mutual friends who had their own experiences with her, and they backed me up. It wasn't easy, and he pushed back at first, but eventually something clicked. He ended things with her. I don't know if it'll stick, but for now he's out. My brother deserves better, and I hope he starts believing that himself. Story 2. My husband completely lost the plot at 38. He quit his job to become a streamer, spent our entire savings on a high-end gaming setup. We're talking close to $2,500. Says it's his dream and he has to try. He's convinced he's going to blow up and make serious money, and apparently I'm supposed to support this, except now I'm also supposed to support the entire family on my salary alone, which is not enough for everything. He promises it's temporary, that things are about to take off. Meanwhile, he sits there all day playing games, screaming at people online, acting like a complete weirdo. I'm in shock. The kids are confused. Both our families think he's lost his mind. He doesn't care at all, just keeps saying it's his dream. I'm scared to even think about how long this midlife crisis is going to last. Story 3. My husband accidentally elbowed me in the face while he was rolling over in his sleep. Caught me right in the nose and broke it. For anyone who doesn't know, a broken nose means 2 black eyes by morning. So I woke up looking like I'd been in a fight all night. I called out of work and got a sick note. I figured I'd just rest quietly at home, but that evening my mom stopped by and completely lost it. She started screaming that my husband beats me and that he's a monster. I tried to explain it was an accident, and she refused to listen. Then she actually called the police. A local officer came to our apartment, and I have never been so embarrassed in my life. And that wasn't even the worst part. My mom called every single relative we have and told them all that my husband is abusive and that I'm basically being held hostage. The whole thing was an absolute nightmare. Story 4. I met a guy on a dating app and we started spending time together. I was starting to catch real feelings. Everything was going great. Then one evening he said he needed to come clean about something. He told me he's a convicted felon. He killed someone, said it happened in a drunk fight. He hit the guy. The guy fell badly and died in the hospital later. He told me he'd understand completely if I didn't want to continue. I drove home in a state of shock, and now I have no idea what to do. I never in my life planned on being with someone who'd been in prison, let alone for something like that. But I already have feelings for him, and he served his time. People deserve second chances, right? I genuinely don't know. Looking for outside perspectives. Story 5. I'm a little embarrassed to admit this, but I got into a fight with my best friend over an AI chatbot. We were arguing about feminism, both of us heated. In the middle of it, I typed into ChatGPT, "Prove that I'm right in this argument," and screenshotted the response to send to her. Like, see, even the AI agrees with me. She was furious. She goes, "You're seriously using a bot as an argument?" I said, "It's objective." She said, "You just asked it to agree with you," and it agreed. It always sides with however you phrase the question. I got mad and left. Then later I tested it myself. I asked the exact same question from the opposite angle. The AI gave the completely opposite answer, just as confidently, just as objectively. I sat with that for about 20 minutes. Then I texted her and said, "You were right. I'm sorry. We made up." But now I keep thinking about how many people are out there using AI to confirm they're right every single day and never bothering to check what happens when you ask it differently. Story 6. So my best friend's husband started messaging me. First, it was just likes on my photos, then a casual, "Hey, how are you?" I kept my responses short but polite. A month later, he sends me a message saying, "You're really beautiful. Let's meet up while she's not around." I was obviously disgusted, took a screenshot, and got ready to tell my friend everything. She looked at me like I was an idiot and said, "I know, that's been me texting you from his account for the past 3 months. I'm testing which of my friends would take the bait. You passed, the others are already blocked." I genuinely don't know whether to cry or feel good about myself for not biting. What I do know is that I don't really want to be friends with her anymore after this. Story 7. I'm 26, live alone, work remotely. Last winter was genuinely rough. I'd just gone through a breakup, work had dried up, and I barely left my apartment. I got to the point where I was having conversations with my neighbor's cat through the hallway door and calling it socializing. A friend suggested I try a group yoga class, said at least I'd be around actual people. So I went. There was an instructor there named Dima, mid-30s, calm energy, quiet voice. After the third class, we got to talking and ended up going for coffee. I thought, okay, here we go. We started dating. I genuinely came back to life. Then a month in, I came over to his place and met his cat. The cat's name was Arthur, and he had a tag on his collar with a phone number on it, a woman's number. I asked whose it was. He said his ex's, in case the cat got lost. I said, "How long ago did you guys break up?" He said, "Well, we're kind of in the middle of it." The cat looked at me with what I can only describe as sympathy. I got dressed and left. Story 8. This is the story of how I spent 2 months talking to an AI instead of going to therapy. I was going through a lot. Divorce, moved out, living alone in a rental. Therapy felt scary and expensive. I discovered that ChatGPT was actually pretty decent with personal stuff. I started writing to it every evening how the day went, what was hurting. It would respond thoughtfully, ask follow-up questions, offer different ways of looking at things. I genuinely felt lighter after those sessions. Then one night, things got really dark. I was telling the bot that I didn't see the point in anything anymore. It responded with, "That sounds really heavy, tell me more." And in that moment, I realized I needed a real person. Not because the bot gave a bad answer, but because I needed someone to actually be scared for me. The bot doesn't get scared. It can't call you. It won't show up. The next day, I made an appointment with a therapist. I've been going for a year now. It's not the same thing at all. Story 10. Short one. This year, I caught myself asking ChatGPT about literally everything. What to cook for dinner, whether to change jobs, how to talk to my teenage son. At some point, my wife looked at me and said, "Do you even make your own decisions anymore? Or do you just ask your little machine?" I got defensive. Then I actually thought about it. So I ran an experiment. 1 full week with 0 AI. Made every decision myself. The first 2 days were genuinely uncomfortable. I kept catching myself wanting to just quickly check something. By day 3, it got easier. By day 5, I realized that the decisions I was making on my own were actually mine. My logic, my mistakes, my responsibility. AI gives solid advice, but it doesn't know my life. It doesn't know my son. It doesn't know what I feel when I look at him. I went back to using AI, but strictly for work now. I kept my own head. Story 0. My boyfriend proposed to me. Did it beautifully at a restaurant, flowers, ring, the whole thing. I said yes, obviously. We started planning the wedding. Everything was moving along. Then a month before the date, he says, "Hey, what if we just cancel the wedding and go sign the papers quietly?" I was hurt. I told him I already bought the dress, the venue is booked, the guests are invited. He said none of that matters. What matters is that we're together. I was upset, but I agreed. We went to the courthouse, just the two of us, grabbed a bite after. Then a month later, he came clean. He said he genuinely had no money for the wedding. He took out a loan just for the ring and the restaurant deposit and had no way to pay it back. So he suggested canceling before things got worse. I was floored. This man took out a loan to propose to me and almost buried himself in debt trying to make it special. We returned the ring, paid off the loan. No wedding, no fancy party. But I know one thing for sure. He really wanted it to be beautiful for me, even if it meant going into debt to do it. An idiot. But he's my idiot. Wallpaper. New stories twice a week. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, consider subscribing and share it with someone close to you.